Hello, this is Kylie J.N.S. and I hope you guys are having a great Friday. And we are doing our weekly tarot, and we got a lot of things to discuss. A lot happened or transpired over the week, and so as always, we want to do a review of what took place and talk about some of the things that we know have happened, especially the situation with the Olympics, um, in the context of what we said in last week's reading, as well as some of the things that we have noticed relating to scandal and business. Um, and so those were some of the topics that we talked about last week. And so I want to do a review, just a quick overview of what we discussed, and then we're going to get into the um, the actual reading for next week. Now, what's interesting is that I did my uh, video last week, the last tarot video that we did, which was, let me just make sure I get that date right. That was July 26th. We literally talked about something, and then 1 hour later, um, the Olympic ceremony had happened. And I have to be very careful in the way I say things and word them because I had did a live. It was a political live, and it was like 5 hours long, and they took it down, like it got like completely banned. And you know how they make you do like I guess like one of them training, like a reprogramming training courses on YouTube, to kind of know what the guidelines is and whatnot. So I don't want to say something that's inflammatory that could potentially jeopardize my platform in terms of getting the message that I have out. I'm not monetized, but I still want to be able to speak what's on my mind and and teach the things I want to teach. So I have to be careful not to go too deep into the rabbit hole. And so for those that were live, during that 5 hour video, that video is up on another platform. Um, there is a recording, even though it was completely removed off of YouTube. So if you notice, and then I have it's 3 months to remove, you know, uh, what they slap my channel with. So um, if you notice just me kind of talking more in code, that's why, because I don't want to, I don't quite know. When you talk about politics, a lot of those things are so controversial. So I don't quite know what it was that I said that kind of threw off the the bots or these algorithm. But nonetheless, uh, we talked about in the reading that there was like a potential for gender confusion, gender something with genderlessness, something with genderlessness. So we said last week on July 26th that was something that we could see this week, and also we could see a scandal with business and corporation, and like the way businesses handle things. And so unfortunately, we saw a lot of that transpire this week. So we'll do the review. Um, and another thing I want to say though is like, because I have to prove, like, it's not so much prove, but show at least the timestamps of when I went live, because I did post. There is a timestamp of when I did my reading, because I posted it on my Twitter account. So what I'm going to do is just show the timestamp, because 1 hour after we did that live, because we started streaming, the stream itself is about an hour long, and so we started streaming, but like a little bit after, like 1 hour after was when the Olympic ceremony took place, and that's when we saw the controversy and the theme of the transgender and whatnot, and that agenda. And so I at least want to show you guys what I am referring to, because when you here we go. So July 26th, as you can see, 4:54 p.m. July 26th is when I posted this. Now, this was after the live was finished. As you know, with a live, yeah, you could share it during the live, but this was posted after. This whole video right here is an hour and 13 minutes long. And so let's review like things that we said in this particular video where we talked about for July 26th through August 2nd, we would see things with gender confusion. We would see things with relating to like a genderlessness or something with business scandal in that regard. And so we see the situation that took place with Mr. Beast. Not the situation with Chris Tyson. That's a different situation, and that happened before this video. We already knew about the situation with Chris Tyson and being a part of Mr. Beast's crew. And for those who don't know who Mr. Beast is, Mr. Beast is the number one YouTuber on the planet. He has over 300 million subscribers. It's big business backing him. A lot of people felt like he was an industry plan. A lot of people felt like he was chosen to kind of find a way to really do hardcore capitalization of YouTube in a sense of where you provide actual programming in a sense for his demographic was usually youth and young people. I'm not going to hold you. I found out about Mr. Beast about 3 months ago. I said, yeah, 3 months ago I found out about Mr. Beast, his channel, and at that time he had 264 million subscribers. And I remember I actually said on my YouTube channel 3 months ago when I first found him, I said, wow, no wonder why people are so stuck in the matrix. This is like, it's documented, like it's on the record. I said, so no wonder why so many people so programmed, I was like, I was so impressed by the production capabilities of the Mr. Beast. And I didn't know they were using CGI or anything, but I said, wow, they got people hooked. And then I was talking about how the logo, the lightning logo, the name Mr. Beast, and what it all means, and how it's a complete. They're experts in distraction, and I said that on my channel 3 months ago. I said they're experts. As I saw that, I was watching some of the challenges, and I'm not going to hold you, like the challenges were cool. I like the challenges with the ages 1 through 100. Last to leave the box, runs to $150,000, whatever it was. But you guys know the Squid Game challenge. I mean, they had multiple challenges. Last one to leave the circle, and last one to leave the triangle. Whatever you could fill in this circle. Those are. I think it was brilliant. Now, what's obvious is that Mr. Beast on his own it did not come up with that. Jimmy, it was always obvious to me that he had big time push like that. I mean, come on. And so they were down to get down. They were down with the agenda. You saw the logo, the Mr. Beast logo. Y'all saw the lightning bolt. I mean, it was so obvious as far as becoming number one. And a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there were some YouTubers that felt like Mr. Beast had ruined YouTube in terms of the algorithm and all the authenticity of content creation. And I mean, I don't know about all of that because I'm not a big YouTuber, and that's obviously not my genre. We are completely different, separate genres in terms of the data, the content that we produce. And so, I'm not here to necessarily slam Jimmy, but I did peruse. I'm telling you that his entire channel. Going back 5 years ago, I watched a documentary, and mind you, this was all before this whole blow up with Chris Tyson. The blow up, he did a documentary about how Mr. Beast conquered YouTube. I watched that with Kyle and Chandler. I'm telling you, like, and you probably like, well, I wouldn't expect you to be into that. That's for kids. I ain't gonna hold you, like, and when it comes to my personal life and the things I like to if I'm gonna engage in bread and circus, I'm very intentional on what I like to look at. And so I've always liked pranks and challenges. I watched CJ So Cool. I'm talking about in my 30s, I was watching CJ So Cool. When I was in grad school at 27, 28 years old, I was watching damn CJ So Cool with Royalty, Carnation, Kamari, Jalea, and Leon. Yes, I was definitely watching their whole channel well into my 30s. I was watching Lex and Jack. Everybody knows Lex and Jack. Pretty much Bianca and her dude, the one that got accused of colorism, Queen Naija when she was doing pranks with her dude. Like we all like, let's just be real. We all have our vices and whatnot, or we all have the little kid inside of us. And my little kid, I still like to watch them damn pranks and challenges. Not so much now, but yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. Like it was well into my damn 30s when I was still watching CJ So Cool, and y'all could judge me or whatnot, but um, I mean, how else will I relax my mind? To me, it's like, you know, um, I'm always in a serious mode. I'm always constantly uh, writing, constantly thinking of things on a very high level, and sometimes you have to balance that out with a conscious disengine. You have to balance that out. And that's for any human. You just can't sit in serious mode all day and explode your damn brain. You have to get that out. I want to make sure my sound is good, but so I'm not here to just bash Mr. Beast, but he is, unfortunately. Oh, hey Morgan Jones, I wanted to acknowledge you. I appreciate you. I want to say Mr. Beast, man. Whew, he's in hot water, and not because of the Chris Tyson situation. Because I don't want you guys to think that, oh, you're that we already knew was going on. But this week, more stuff has come forward with an employee. Now we know Jake, the Viking, had already come forward and claimed that Jimmy knew about the Chris Tyson situation with, and I was shocked, 'cause, but at the same time, I'm not here to spread hate. Um, but Chris' actions was deplorable and needed the reprimanded. So it's not about his gender or what he decided to do in his personal life. It's what you're doing to our community. And so I do think that those actions to separate and to call out Chris Tyson based on what he was doing in that Discord, sure, sure. And so now they try to make it seem like, oh, y'all just being transphobic. No, no, like we are not tolerating grown men or grown. Um, but at that time, he was identified as a man, so that's why I'm saying, man. At that time in that Discord, we can't allow that to take place with our children. And so Chris Tyson, he had a wife and he had children, and he decided to step away from that and walk away from that. Well, not necessarily walk away from his child, obviously his kids, but he wanted to affirm himself, express himself as a female now. And so a lot of the fans were shocked, and so people started digging around and found the Discord and whatnot. And so we see this thing with this transgender stuff this whole week. You know, now with Mr. B situation, people are coming forward about the actual challenges, the legitimacy of the business model itself, the authenticity of the business model. They're more so attacking the things that they had to sign away in those NDAs that had nothing to really do with, again, um, Chris Tyson. And so that's important because I do want to cover that because he's in lawsuits now. There are people coming forward. Um, he's been sending cease and desist to people, and he had a former employee. I want to say his name is Dog Pack. He did a video. This right here, former employee. He said, "I work for Mr. Beast. He's a fraud." This was 8 days ago. 8.3 million views. Mr. Beast. No, here's people just coming forward about what has happened, and so this was what we were discussing last week, the energy that we were seeing. Again, it has nothing to do with Chris Tyson because the Chris Tyson situation happened before the actual this situation with Mr. Beast, where they are attacking him more so on the the business practices and the legitimacy of Mr. Beast as an enterprise. And Mr. Beast is a enterprise. You don't just have 300 million subscribers, give millions of dollars away, um, throw amazing production and program using CGI and various employees and all that. This is a company. Make no mistake about it. This is a brand. This is a huge. It was the biggest brand on YouTube, and YouTube had a lot invested in this. Amazon invested in this. He had it backing with Elon Musk. I mean, a lot of people have backed Mr. Beast. Business people, corporations. I mean, it wasn't a corporation that wouldn't sponsor this channel. And so when we see this, it's quite shocking. It's quite shocking because honestly, I didn't expect this. There are people that I'm still one of them loosey goosey people that think that, like, Mr. Beast has a reputation of doing philanthropy and giving a lot of things away and all that stuff. So when I was seeing that, I really, that's the only reason why I was watching the challenges, because I like to see people get help and get people get things, that they didn't have before. So I enjoy watching Jimmy give like people like opportunities and all this stuff. And that's what I thought, because on the outside looking in, that's all you're gonna see. So when people are coming forward and saying, "Oh no, that's not what it is, and that's not what it's about," and they are speaking out, and so that's kind of alarming me, because I'm like, you know, a lot of times you want to take things as face value, because you want to believe that humans are generally good, and so if someone is have a whole channel helping people and giving back to the community and building things for the community and children and all that stuff, and then all this crap comes out, you're like, whoa, like it's time to take off the rose tinted glasses and realize, like, which I knew honestly, and I said on my previous videos, I already knew Mr. Beast was a plant. I mean, not a plant, but I said my exact words was he has to have backing from some type of bank or major investment in this channel, major from the big boys, like, and I had said that's some type of investment firm or something huge, like a big name or backing this, that I knew, you know. I just thought it was refreshing to see the direction they were going in terms of showing the philanthropy aspect of it. But then it comes out that these boys were engaged in messing with, minors, and that's a problem. So that totally is like, oh, stop, don't finish your statement, we out. Like we can't, we don't do that. And so we know that Chandler has left. Chandler's on TikTok every day reading Bible verses, and so what did he see and what did he know? And he has his family and child that he's looking after, but it's like, what did you see that caused such a shift where you more so you realize the spiritual warfare out here? And so I'm not judging him. I'm actually, I think he took the right step in terms of focusing on his family and his and what makes him happy, and the spirituality and Christianity, that's his business. So I think whatever made you happy, or whatever gave you that peace of mind or balance, then do it. Because clearly what Mr. Beast had going on and this bull stuff that going on, that was not balance, especially when it comes to adults messing with kids, and a man all of a sudden want to, divorce his wife and turn into a woman and all, like, what's going on? And then we see with the Mr. Beast logo, we're gonna get to the reading and the review. Just walk with me for a bit. Because if you see my channel and what all transpired, Mr. Beast, let's do this, the logo. Let's just do the logo. Those are the transgender colors of the transgender flag. So it's like they may have always had this agenda, and I think as we were all watching it, it's like, no, we weren't really thinking that deeply about it, perhaps. But people were pointing this out. But that lightning bolt and that name, Mr. Beast, we always knew that that's how they got down. I mean, they don't hide that. They didn't hide that part, but they put out, but that stuff that, but I just don't think we realize, like, oh, am I not, I'm not sharing the right tab. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Just want to make sure it's sharing it. But this logo right here. So for people always knew that, that they was pushing some type of agenda. I just thought, okay, yeah, that's how you get down. You are moving on that. That's your personal belief. And so it is what it is. But when they pushing this stuff like that, it becomes obvious. And again, I have to be careful, because I don't want a community to try to say, oh, you're spreading hate speech or whatever. I don't mind. It's not that I don't mind. I don't care what anybody is trying to do with their nether regions, or but my thing is, leave these children alone, and don't try to indoctrinate these children. Don't try to program these children about stuff relating to orientation. Don't even try to subliminally program them, because this is subliminal programming. I thought it was subliminal programming towards a different, and I'm not going to go in deep into that, but a different agenda. I'm not gonna hold you, but it does look like it came out what this is about, and so they're under fire. They're under major fire, and then after this whole situation transpires, we saw what they was doing with the Olympics, with the supper, and so all of this plays a role into what I want to talk about. And so we'll do the review of what I talked about last week, and then we'll get into this because this is some wild stuff. Okay, I want to make sure I'm sharing the screen. Okay, I do plenty of things, but yes, if you guys do want a reading, you can book whenever you want at your time with some sort of corporation. The media, the format in which you speaks energy. Oops, sorry about that. For matter of fact, let me put my links in there. Just in case anyone does want to get a reading, you guys can. It's no pressure. I do this. Okay, let me fast forward it a little bit more. I thought I had it at the space that I wanted it at. This looked like there could be something, some sort of major, some type of major scandal with some sort of corporation relating to. I would say this could be work and labor law, workplace. Is something with a corporation that is going to get their ass handed to them. Let me just write this down, or some type of that gets into. Okay, so with Mr. Beast, again, this is for those who don't know. Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber on the planet. Now, again, this video was recorded 6 days ago, July 26th, and we said that this is a weekly tarot. It was just a prediction of what we felt, what we saw, what could happen this whole entire week. And we see Mr. Beast came after fire. Now, people may just look at him as a YouTuber, but Mr. Beast is not just no damn YouTuber. Like this, this dude has 300 million subscribers on you. You guys do know that his channel generates $1 billion. $1 billion. That's a corporate. That's an enterprise. You don't just generate that kind of. Let me just go to the Mr. Beast so y'all can see what I'm talking about, because I know a lot of people don't know probably who this is, but I mean, I don't think my audience will know who this is. I mean, because again, I know I have a little kid inside of me that does watch challenges and pranks and stuff, and like I said, I'm still watching CJ So Cool and shit. So, but Mr. Beast, I have to be very careful not to show, like no video or nothing. But Mr. Beast has 308 million subscribers. Okay. He came out of nowhere. In a lot of people's eyes, it seemed like his ascent came out of nowhere. I tracked it. He had been doing this for a long time. He used to actually like record himself saying the same word over and over and over again. So as far as me, when I say I track, like I did follow, like when did his channel first start? When did he come up on the scene? And that's why I said I watched the documentary. I did background research. I'm like, what is all this? And that was when I first found the channel, because I said somebody's back in this channel. Like that was obvious that this is an enterprise, big money. We talking about they give away millions of dollars, and it's the number one platform on YouTube. And so YouTube was backing on. This was the GOAT. I heard the other influencers saying, Mr. Beast is YouTube's golden boy. He's the chosen boy. So this is clearly, and as you can see, I watched. You could see the red line. You could see how I was watching these challenges, and this was before the scandal with Chris Tyson. And I just was thinking he was helping people and really wanted to help people, and then that's when the Chris Tyson situation happened. But this week is important because we see all these people, we see these challenges. I mean, every country on earth fights for $250,000. I ain't gonna hold you. This one, ages 1 through 100 decide who wins $250,000. That was the funniest one to me. I love that one. I really think that's production gold, but it's not it's not raw in a sense of where you have like, how anybody could get on YouTube, and if you had talent, or you were funny, or you're really intelligent, or you were, just showing something that was different and unique, you could make it a YouTube as a content creator, or whatever you were trying to do, and build up a platform that way. And so there are people that feel, other influencers that feel that Mr. Beast threw a wrench in that, because YouTube wanted to shift the platform more so to like commercialize, like very enterprise production of content, as well as like push the celebrities in the forefront of the algorithm. And so there's really talented people, whether in whatever field they're in, whether that be comedy, whether that be music, education, spiritual teachings, DIY, makeup, whatever it is. Um, they are there are people that are more talented, or more, even more charismatic, or even have better production, but they're not able to get into algorithm because of the things that YouTube is doing. It's not the same. I mean, we know when YouTube came out, I mean, 2000. I mean, we remember them 2008 days, 2009 days, when it was the wild, wild west. And I wasn't a YouTuber back then, but I observed. I remember. I think I was at that time. Lovely T was out. I want to say. It was a couple of people that started out so early, and we caught them. We were watching it like, wow, this thing is cool. YouTube is cool. And then we just saw that complete shift. With the complete censorship. Certain channels taken down, shadow banning, so there's a lot going on in that regard, and it's unfortunate. And even if YouTube wanted to swing it this way with this enterprise commercialization of content creators, of content creation rather, like the idea of content creation becoming massive billion-dollar enterprise like Mr. Beast, um, you have to be careful on what kind of programming you're putting out there. I know clear as day that this is programming. Like, as soon as I'm telling you, like, and I said it in one of my videos previously. I said, "Oh, then I just discovered the Mr. Beast." It was like 3 months ago. I said, "I just discovered the Mr. Beast channel," and I just kept cracking. Like this video right here. Oh my goodness! When I say, like, you would have thought I was laughing, tears coming out my. I was laughing so profusely because I'm like, wow, hook, line, sinker. Look at the production. Look at everything that they have done to it. Because I saw it as psychology. So I kept saying, I said, there's code in all of this, and there's on a psychological level, it's meant to hook you. And so I'm observing how they're producing this. And I said that in my video 3 months ago. I said, man, they got some that production is meant to program you. I said, no wonder why so many people stuck in the matrix. No wonder why it just so many people is gone. Because I mean, this type of stuff is heavy. That's why I said, no, he got backing. Because this little kid, I mean, I don't know how old Jimmy is. He probably in the start. I said, Jimmy ain't the one coming up with all this stuff. And oh hell no. Now he's not the one. If he sat on the internet saying a word over and over and over again for 24 hours and 48 hours on that stuff, that was his level of content creation. So he made a deal and he struck gold and he made a deal, whatever, at the crossroads, whatever, how he did it. And he got his shit off. And I'm like, whew, what a deal they gave you. But it looks like the you have to pay the piper, or a chicken has come home to roost, so you didn't want to do so. Because my thing is, what did Mr. Beast walk away from, or what did he speak out on? Chandler is gone. Chandler is on YouTube reading Bible verses, and they coming after Mr. Beast hard. Now, Chris Tyson, he put a chink in the armor, but that's not necessarily Mr. Beast's actions. But there are people that say that Mr. Beast knew about Chris Tyson. But my thing is, they're coming after him with this week. They're coming after him with lawsuits. They got people talking about the business practices, the business illegalities that this channel has been doing to people. People going to the hospital, all this stuff. And all this is hearsay. Anybody can say anything. Because my suspicion is, why do they come? Because they go after these certain people at a certain time. And they do this with anybody, including Black Americans. Like, and we all be knowing what time it is. But at the same time, you engaged in male actions, or you did things that were highly inappropriate. But when they start coming out like that with lawsuits, they just put out an old video of Mr. Beast, saying that talking about Black Americans, and that's a hook, line, sinker every time. When he was, did he say the N word? No, I don't think he was saying the N word, but he was saying that $69 was too much for a black person as far as a slave. And so they just released that video yesterday. I mean, talking about like with this whole week, they have released that video. They have brought lawsuits against him. They have his employees saying he's a fraud. With the videos going viral and all this stuff of them doing that. And so there's something going on. If you ask me, when they come after you like this, nah, something deeper done happen. Because my thing is Chandler. Chandler is your biggest giveaway. Chandler is out and walked away from something, and is on YouTube, is on TikTok reading Bible verses, and then they got people who signed NDAs speaking out. Multiple people who signed NDAs. Anytime they do that, that means there's a machine behind it. And so, then we saw, and on top of that, the situation with Chris Tyson is the icing on the cake. Now, I'm not defending Jimmy or whatever, at all. But I'm saying we see this time and time again. I'm noticing this pattern where I've seen it time and time again with different people. And, could it be a part of the comeuppance? Sure. I mean, I personally don't think that humanity should be. I think if you're going to program humanity, at least give them more awareness, and not so much distraction. And so that's my take on it. But if he knew about what was going on and had things to do with that situation with Chris Tyson, then yeah, the channel should, people should pull out that channel in terms of the investments, as well as the children or the parents who have their children watching that channel. It's a lot of children that watch that channel. There are 5-year-olds that watch that channel. We all know that. And so they slamming the hammer down. We wanted some business negotiation didn't go right. We talking about esoterically that something didn't go right, and he walked away from something and they throwing the hanger at him. But my thing is, y'all do what he still did dirt. You know what I mean? Look at this. The Mr. Beast allegations got worse. Over the last week, Mr. Beast games have been a source of major controversy. This is what I'm talking about. The idea of the enterprise itself with the games, the scandal. That's what we mean. So I'm not trying to harp on that situation with Chris Tyson. We're talking more so about Mr. Beast itself, the enterprise. Look at this. Mr. Beast tried to debunk fraud allegations. They call him a fraud. They saying his videos was made with CGI and all that stuff. See, this person is saying that everything is fake, dog packed, and came at. And these are people that worked with him. These people that worked for him. And so they all had signed these NDAs. So I guess they were disgruntled secretly, but somehow they're now able to speak out. But a lot of people, they were very disgruntled, I guess, behind the scenes. And whoever gave it the light to speak out, we talking about now they bring in lawsuits against him. And this is just because I know Jake the Viking had came out, but again, we're just speaking on this week because this is new. As far as like this, look at the date here, July 29th. It says Mr. Beast branded a fraud by a purported ex-employee accusing him of hostile illegal lotteries. So they lying about the legitimacy of his videos. This is a $1 billion company. Jimmy Donaldson has become known for his over-the-top competitions with contestants probably the chance to win hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they have him on Nickelodeon, and we know that situation with. So yeah, this is the business scandal that we had been seeing. To be honest, I mean, this is the biggest one. I mean, there were other smaller ones. Because actually I want to share this one because there was other things like yesterday there was Roblox is still in a corporation. It's a corporation securities fraud lawsuit. So we all know about that situation where Roblox. I think that had been ongoing though, and then their Allstate is also caught in a scandal as well. Allstate, it was an Allstate subsidiary, was hit by the feds over alleged insurance fraud, and over 655,000 vehicle owners could be affected. So that's over a million people. And this was July 29th. This was a couple of days ago. Yep. Mm-mm-mm. So Allstate is, let's see, the Allstate subsidiary caught in fraud as well. But honestly, I think that that's this situation right here. Because look at this one. This one is July 31st. Mr. Beast addresses past inappropriate language amid allegations of racist remarks. And so a lot of people that were black, there's a lot of black Americans that watch his show and a lot of Africans that watch Mr. Beast because they also saw like some of they saw there were black contestants, you know. And so, but a lot of black Americans were like, oh, we weren't shocked. You know, we kind of knew that about, you know, you kind of just picked up that energy, you know, and so a lot of people were not shocked. But he was saying he was saying that the most he would pay for a black person for a black slave is $300, but then he said that $69 was too steep, and so he is the company, and he is the corp. This is the enterprise that we saw that had the scandal as well as Allstate's subsidiary. But look at this card for last week, from 6 days from July 26th. It was the devil card. So we think about Mr. Beast and we think about the things that they were playing or were showing this whole week. An hour after this video was aired was when we saw the Olympics took place. And then after, I also mentioned in this video that I'm about to continue playing that they're going to push something with genderlessness. So let's keep going so we can hear that part. This could be like legal trouble. Like this could be legal trouble or something with like workplace scandal. That's the first thing I pick up. And as far as workplace scandal, there are people coming forward from that, Mr. B, saying specifically that workplace laws were violated. As far as like Wolfpack, in that video that not Wolfpack, Dogpack just published with 8 million views, there are people coming forward saying that there was illegal things and violations of work laws in terms of not getting food, not being able to take bathroom breaks, not being able to change undergarments, a lot of workplace violations. So that was mentioned in the Dogpack video. And so that was the enterprise, that corporate, that energy with that scandal, that was that Mr. B stuff for sure. It's the first thing. That could be one scenario. That could be one event. Another event as something can go belly up, like some sort of a belly up, like a bankrupt company, something of that nature. Something can go. The first term, as I see, is belly up. Belly up. Could this mean like stock goes like to shit? Like stock goes. And I'm just writing this stuff down so I don't have to like rewatch the video. So I can kind of just. Okay. So as far as the bankruptcy, there were let's see, the latest one that we have was a Bay Area tech company that was worth $10 billion. SunPower Corporation, they went they're near bankruptcy. And then Recaro Automotive filed for bankruptcy 2 days ago. But I'm thinking like, I don't know, because we're still doing like this bleed out in the stock market. I've got a feeling that's more of that, because yesterday everybody thought it was going to pop off with Meta earnings being so, meeting over expectations, right? Even AMD, beat its earnings and Meta. So people were expecting, okay, maybe the end of that sell-off is done, and the stock would rally. But it gave back all its gains yesterday. Like the market gave back all of those gains, and so and that was kind of whatever they they're at the mercy of the hedge funds in terms of that. But and it's kind of like it's I guess Yeah, the Nvidia got hammered again. Yeah, I mean AMD is up now, but like yeah, I think people expected this stuff to kind of pop off a little bit more, especially with Meta, because I mean Meta's price target got rose to like uh like 585, or well, it depends on. I think JP Morgan raised it to. I can't remember, but anyways, it's like it's supposed to be like 530, 615, or like 630. If I remember the three different numbers I viewed quickly, I was perusing very quickly, and so I think more of that energy. But there were two bankruptcies. Let's keep going. Very quickly on what we talked about, but yeah, this relates to some sort of workplace. I'm going to get to the individual. I'm just trying to see if I see any more world events. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I just see some type of scandal with a corporate. If I see something else, I'll say it. But I'm going to switch to the individual now. For individuals, the collective conscious, unfortunately, there may be like some sort of excessive rumination this week over like this could be work or relationship of that you may grapple with this week. I'm just going to fast forward because I want to get back to the part where I talked about the genderlessness and the Baphomet. Temporary, and you have all the power to get out what is considered normal, that it can be healing in a sense things out. So that's why when I see the devil card, I don't necessarily see it as like the bad, how other people would see it, but also you can always walk away. You can always break free of any bondage. You can turn this around, like as far as like the introspection that complain that you've been too buried in your work, too buried into the work. It's a heavy week for corporation and money. I get that as well. Like possibly like deadlines and reports relating to fiscal numbers and grounded. It's not. How do we say this? Because I don't want to use the word like the word I want to use. It's not really the word I want to. Animal. There we go. Animalistic base. That's what I mean by base. Like animalistic behaviors. It's not. It lacks awareness. It lacks a self-awareness. It lacks. And right here, we're talking about the devil card specifically because that was the outcome for this week. Is the devil card. So that's what we're talking about. That animalistic, that base, and that's where we saw that push for that kind of stuff, like in the Olympics, a higher consciousness, and so. That's the energy that I'm getting for this week in terms of like possible fears about markets or earnings. I'll put that in here too as far as a world event. There's something with maybe a possible something with numbers relating to money though. As far as globally. But nonetheless, if you feel yourself another thing with let me just finish my sentence. If you feel yourself feeling like with fast forward a little bit like, more whether you're being illogical, and so if you feel okay, I'm obsessing over this person so below, because that devil energy is something. Okay, here I think is where I switch and talk about more of back to the collective level. So below, because that devil energy is something that's very important to the people at the top in terms of this Baphomet energy, this as above, so below, this androgynous trans, half male, half female with pain. See, as you said, androgynous trans, half male, half female, and all this. It represents Capricorn, and the this upside down pentagram. Oh man, what was that? Shine, SHIN, but then they moved it. They removed the H, and now it's just sin. But it related to something in the Kabbalah. I gotta. I'm sure I did my remember my research, but nonetheless, this energy is important to them. it's important to those at the top, in terms of this, as below, as above, so below. It's I see that a lot of the things that they regard as like occult information as botched information. It's not any disrespect. It's just I see it as, some people get their hands on things and don't understand it and just come up with, add things to it, take things away, come up with their own interpretations, and it may not even necessarily be, how it was originally interpreted, or that energy may not even be for the person that has taken that path on. And so I do see something with Scandal, um and just it's something with, that in politics, but also it could be some sort of push, with this genderless stuff that they're trying to do, this week. I wouldn't be shocked if something about that came. And I'm not trying to be, offensive at all to anyone, you know, or sexual orientation or their identity as far as how they identify. Because I'm not even talking about that. I don't want you guys to think I'm trying to talk about that. I'm talking about some sort of push, like a possible push, relating to uh, like genderless stuff, like genderlessness, or or desecration of the divine feminine, or the muddling of the meddling, like calling women's like chest feeding and stuff. Okay, this is where we need to really pay attention, because there was a situation, where the Olympics, they did make a girl fight, a boxer fight another, person that had failed a gender eligibility test, and she was punched and her nose was broken within 46 seconds. And they were saying that person was, a male, but then they were saying that she has a bunch of testosterone, but technically she still has the chromosome of a female. I think they're trying to cover it up. I really do think that the Olympics is trying to cover up, because that also went viral, I want to say yesterday, where they had, um, a female that got knocked out within 46 seconds by someone who failed a gender eligibility test in the Olympics just yesterday. That had happened. So when we talk about the gender confusion, this video was published, literally. This video was published on my, Twitter right here, 1 hour before that Olympic ceremony. That is documented. It's right here on your screen. 4:54 p.m. This video was an hour and 13 minutes long. And so I started it at around 3:50, about 3:45, 3:30 or 3:45. This video right here. And then that ceremony came on, but that Olympic ceremony came on. And then that's when we saw them again pushing, agendas. They opened it up with, drag queens. They opened it up with a mocking of the Last Supper. And a lot of people were very offended by this. They actually had to come out and apologize. They tried to remove it. They tried to, censor things. They were really upset. People were really upset that, their religion was being mocked. Instead of like with the Last Supper, they took out like, the disciples have put in, transsexual, transgender, or whatever. And so, as you can see in this video with this last outcome card, you see that right in front of you. You can see that. And so, this was an hour later when that ceremony came on. But also, we saw, the Olympics. Here we go, right here. Gender role explodes after Algerian boxers 46-second win at Olympics. And so this was really sad, because that female, um, her nose was broke within 46 seconds. Now the boxer's name was Iman Khalif, and she identifies as a female. And they were saying that, She failed the gender eligibility test. But then they want to come back, I would say about 10 hours later. I guess they've had to figure out a way to spin it. 10 hours later, they want to come back and say, oh, she's actually is a girl, but she has so much testosterone in her body. And so um, that's why she was able to knock her out within 46 seconds and break her nose like that. I don't buy that. She said, my nose started, the girl said, my nose started dripping with blood from the first hit. And she broke down in tears when talking to the reporters. She's 20. She was snobbing. She said, I felt too much pain. She said, I've always fought against men. I trained with my brother, but I guess that was too much for her. So she knew that it was a male. She knew herself. She was like this, that she wasn't fighting another female. She was fighting somebody with a bunch of testosterone in their body. And testosterone is only found in males. Very small amounts in women, but for the most part, males have a surplus of testosterone. And so I personally don't think, I think that the Olympics is trying to spin this. Mind you, they opened up with this transgender push, you know, and they made the Last Supper. They wanted to do their rendition of that. This is at the Olympics, and everybody knows about this. People saw it and was like, "What in the world is going on?" And this is, to me, when we talk about the Olympics and what countries they go, they throw, they throw the Olympics at, whether that had been Spain. We know Barcelona was 1 year. We know Atlanta was 1 year. We know Russia was 1 year. We know, what else did they do? China was 1 year. Tokyo was 1 year. And they usually do a theme around the history of the country, to showcase the beauty of that country. And so they didn't do that with this year's Olympics. Like, how is this representative of Paris? How is this representative of of the history of Paris? Does this look like the history of Paris? Like they could have shown, Paris is known for having avant-garde. They could have did a history of avant-garde if they wanted to be eccentric, if they wanted to show eccentricity. They could have done avant-garde, right? But no, they they threw on something that had nothing. Well, they did show Paris is Burning, but Paris is Burning is still American culture. Paris is Burning is a documentary by LGBT men who were disenfranchised in America for their orientation. It had nothing to really even do with transgenders. I'm very familiar with the Paris is Burning documentary. So they did show that as a reference, but it has nothing to do with Paris history. You guys do know that, right? And so even if we wanted to swing it that way, like, oh, where they were trying to show Paris is not, well, I guess you can say Western culture is known for gender inversions and perversions and, pedophilia, whatever. But, and I want to make it clear that I'm not saying that transgender people engage and that's some do, some don't. Um, and so I don't want to castricize any group of people in this country or in the world. So that's not my aim, but we have to call out, when something is oversaturated or when an agenda is being pushed. And so for me, just objectively, this doesn't look like anything that shows Paris history, the history of France. France has eccentric cuisine. Like France is known for their cuisine. Like, remember the show Ratatouille? I mean, the movie Ratatouille, based in France. Even Beauty and the Beast. They could have did a theme around Beauty and the Beast. Remember the movie Beauty and the Beast by Disney? Walt Disney, he's obviously a 33 degree Mason. And that was heavy programming in Beauty and the Beast, the movie itself. And so I'm not saying we need to program people that way either, but they could have did a theme around that. When you watch the cartoon Beauty and the Beast, it was centered in France. We all know that, right? That was actually one of my favorite movies as a kid. Like at 5 years, when I was 5 years old, honestly, I had that VHS tape. I had that Beauty and the Beast VHS tape. Real talk, and I used to watch that shit like every day. So I remember that. I remember that movie clear as day, being based in France. The girl's name was Belle, and they had Coxworth and all that shit. But it was a they could have used Beauty and the Beast if they wanted to show French regalia, and then they had their French cuisine. They're known for those type of things. Fashion. If they wanted to do avant-garde fashion, they could have showed that. Like, why would they go with this? This doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't logically make any sense. And you can be eccentric, and you could even show, you know, a community that you want to support throughout in a theme of maybe not the whole entire opening ceremony, but you don't have to be crude and you don't have to be offensive. You know, they knew that this was going to be offensive to people, and this is where we talk about the gender inversion and this is the reverse engineering of anything that is natural will get reversed. That's just how they see it. And it's more so a reversing of electromagnetic uh, energy. It's an attempt to do that, but this has nothing to do necessarily with organized religion. I'm not saying that it was to come at organ. It's much deeper as far as this. Now, in terms of affirming, you know, artistic aesthetics of what they subjectively feel over there in France. Yeah, France maybe have a different definition of what they subjectively feel is beautiful, but they knew that this would be offensive, and people called it out. People rejected it. People attacked it, and um, and they had to apologize. They came out and apologized for their actions. Yeah, the designer of the theme. But my thing is, if they wanted to do a Paris theme for France, they could have done the history of the Eiffel Tower. Had some cool shit going around with the. They had lots of experiments at the Eiffel Tower over the years. Again, Beauty and Beast could have been something. French cuisine could have been something where they showed the history of Paris and the foods that they've created. But my thing is for them to produce this and say again, we saw the Russian Olympics. We saw when China did their opening ceremony. We saw when United States did their opening ceremony. So we know what these things look like. Like Americans are not just or not just Americans, but people that watch the Olympics. We know we've tracked how this shit used to look. And so it's not like we're being dramatic. Like this was so far gone from what we have ever seen the Olympics look like. So far gone. We have never seen it look this crazy. It just is not given. And this is not what Paris is known for. This is ballroom culture. Ballroom culture did not start in France. So this Paris is burning thing they trying to do, that's American culture. Paris is burning is a documentary in America. And then they showing this stuff where like this have nothing to do with no damn Olympics. We're not even showing the history of the athletes in France. They even got some cool French scientists. Didn't the guy that come up with pastel? Isn't he out of France? The guy that came up pretty much with the pasteurization process and discovered germ theory. Isn't he out of France? I'm not mistaken. Jean-Jacques is out of France. Is it Nietzsche out of France too? Is it Nietzsche? I mean, they could have showed they could have just took us on a philosophical, you know, ride of Paris history. The Olympics shows you the history of your country, usually where it's hosted at, and they did none of that. They just did this is foolishness. This looks stupid. And this is an hour after I posted my video and said they were going to do something with genderlessness and gender confusion. My thing is, people gonna do whatever the hell they gonna want. People gonna do whatever the hell they gonna do. You can't try to change nobody And I don't think nobody on this planet is here trying to emphasize or control what another person does. But in terms of the things that we engage in collectively as a public, we do have a say in that. And so we have a say in the programming that comes on the airwaves. Oh yeah, and I'm speaking in code. I'm going deep there as I'm talking to those that put this type of stuff together. Y'all know good and hell well this was going to get pushback. What is this? Like, is if this is okay, there's a time and place for everything. We're talking about context in terms of the history of Paris and the Olympics itself being a sports event. Sports event. If we talk about Greek culture, yeah, we know Greek culture. It had the lover boy and all that stuff, but you know, and it's based off of Roman and Comitian culture, of course, Comitian science. But this is not. I mean, it doesn't show any productive value. I guess that's yeah. There's no productive value to the theme of the Olympics in Paris history. Now, say they wanted to show, say Karl Lagerfeld's designings or the design. They do a lot of fashions out there. They could have had a fashion theme, throw some Beauty and the Beast. You know, have a little sections where they showing some of the things of France, the culinary um, exquisiteness, those type of things that people can be like, oh yeah, this is French, and have a whole beautiful theme around it. They could have had Beauty and the Beast and showing in that bakery scene, and particularly where they were showing all those different types of croissant and brioche. And where that scene in the Beauty and the Beast, they could have played that out right in the Olympics, and that would have been so nostalgic for people because everybody, for one, saw Beauty and the Beast. Everybody knows that France has certain, they're known for certain cuisines and creations globally in terms of the food department. And then they could have did something with the fashions. They could have had them dressed in the avant-garde fashions. They could have did a whole new spin on Beauty and the Beast and had them dressed in avant-garde Paris fashions. A nice Eiffel Tower in the back. I mean, I'm just this is what they should have done. I'm just telling you what they should have done. I'm not just going to critique it like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna critique this shit, but that's what y'all should have done. Beauty and the Beast, avant-garde fashions, baby. You do have a transgender or two in the mix, you know. And then you have that whole bakery scene where Gaston and Belle, remember that song she was singing, it must be more than this provincial life, that whole scene. And she was walking with the book and then they were showing the bread in the bakery and the whole towns in French, mind you, the movie was based in France. They could have recreated that for the Olympic ceremony. It would have been beautiful, like the whole scenery of France, right? Beauty and the Beast, Gaston, and that whole section, and have them dressed in the avant-garde, and then have them. They was showing in the scene where they was the different foods and the different stuff that like the croissants and all that stuff. They could have showed that, and then also maybe even get even more creative with it, but have it like a musical, just like in a movie. And they could have done something really powerful, and then they could have still got their agenda. Because now I'm talking to the powers that be. Y'all still could have got your agenda uh, done with uh, the gender stuff, because we have Belle and we have Gaston. We have the masculine and the divine feminine. Um, and in terms of even if you were going with the inversion method, Belle for her time in that movie, she wasn't provincial. They was calling her awkward and eccentric because she liked to read as a woman. She was extremely smart, and her father was an inventor, and so she would stand up to the beast, and she uh, wasn't the typical woman that was thirsting over guest dawn. So now we have even more of the Lilith energy within Belle. Y'all still could have got y'all little ritual rocks off without having to do this stupid shit. I'm not even gonna hold you. Y'all could have had, uh, you know, as far as showing a different fashion in it, right? In it, but making a whole theme about it is it doesn't make it does. There's no value, productive value, in terms of the messaging in the context of the history of Paris and the Olympics. And so, if you want to put them in there because again, people generally don't promote hate. Humans generally don't, even though they can be hateful sons of bees. They this is more so about people feeling that their religious beliefs are mocked. Timed this. They waited 10 hours. Like it's like y'all had a crisis on your hands. The president's got involved. Elon Musk speak out about it. People were outraged, and I think that they just freaked out and just wanted to come out and had to throw anybody, But I don't think this was equal footing. Even if you know somebody got a bunch of testosterone, and unfortunately, it, Okay, can you hear me now? Let me just check the video. Okay, so the sound's back on. So yeah, they do that. If I get too deep on stuff, they'll do that. I know that they're systematically looking for a way. Again, like they said, when you cut off someone, when you try to, they always cut off the sound if I talk too deep about a certain topic, so they can intercept whatever I'm saying. But like they say, when you cut out a man's tongue, you're not showing nothing. You're showing the fear what they gonna say. So I just want to make sure because I don't know how long it got cut off. I'm about to actually track it and see how long it was. I was off the air. Let me just monitor to see where I left off at. Masculine and the divine feminine. Trying to see where it goes off at. And in terms of even if you were going with the inversion method, Belle for her time in that movie, she wasn't provincial. They was calling her Paris in the Olympics. This is more so about people, but I don't think this was equal footing. Even if you know somebody got a bunch of testosterone, and unfortunately, yeah, they cut it off there. Okay, um, let me just make sure. I'm gonna still go back and say whatever I was saying because I didn't say anything that was illegal, but they cut my stuff. They do it all the time. Whatever I was saying because I okay. But anyways, like I said, the host. I guess y'all missed that whole Snoop Dogg thing, so that's where they cut it off. I want to make sure because maybe this is getting too deep for them. They don't want the public to know this stuff, but I mean, it is what it is. And I was saying that if you have to deceive or lie about anything that you're engaged in, that makes your vibration low. And so it begs the question, like, what do you have to hide? So I was saying that, Snoop Dogg had on this necklace. And also we were talking about that lady with the uh who failed the gender eligibility test and has testosterone in her body, and people were saying she's a man, but then 10 hours later they saying she wasn't a man. But nonetheless, yeah, that's wrong. Men should not fight women. I'm just trying because it's like 21 minutes got cut off of my video, so I have to kind of like I'm like damn. But I'll skip whatever I was saying in that part, and but we can see this. This is Snoop Dogg at the Olympics. Snoop Dogg at the Olympics. And as we can see, he had on the Baphomet necklace. My video was an hour before that ceremony live was aired. My video was before that video, 6 days ago, before that ceremony took place. And as we can see, the outcome card clear as day showed that Baphomet figure. And so Snoop Dogg goes and he wears this at the Olympics. Now he said that's not what that is. He said it just means the greatest of all time. You got to be an idiot to believe that.
Yeah, because
But
some
they always lie about stuff, and that's why I'm like, I don't like the respectability. It's of any time you have to lie about what you stand on or how your get down is or what you go for, then you know it lowers your vibration. It's like, is that really an authentic resonance to even operate out of? Or you're hiding something. You might be doing something you ain't got no business doing. Anytime you have to lie and deceive about something. And so he said that wasn't what the necklace was about, but okay, whatever. But he was at the Olympics with that necklace on. Just so y'all know that that's July 30th, and people were all talking about it. But I think is why you put it out there and then lie about it. Don't put it out there and then damn lie. Um, Another thing I was saying, as far as like if they wanted to go with, I was talking about the Last Supper stuff. That's why they cut me off. I think I went back to that. I was saying, if you have a situation like, say, like with the Last Supper was designed by Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, and so even technically, even if you wanted to swing it with that, that wouldn't. That's Italy. That's Italian history, and so the context of the theme of the Olympics, and it rooted with you know the history of where the Olympics take place. That moment was lost. The moment was just lost for this year, and I think that they irreparably damaged their brand. I really do. I think the Olympics damaged their brand, and I think that they should have had a better create more creativity. They don't have any creativity. That's why they always come after chosen ones. That's why they like to silence and shadow ban people that's more creative and more talented than them, because they don't have the sauce, and so they either want to copy or steal, or invert and pervert. That's just what them people do. And I'm not talking about gender, about the transgenders community or LGBT. I'm not talking about that community. I'm talking about um, the people that engage in these type of rituals, or these people that that want to push inversion. So that has nothing to do with a sexual orientation. We're talking about on a spiritual level is how deep it gets. And so they lost that opportunity to have a to show the history of Paris itself. Come up with a really beautiful creative thing, because I don't know if you guys heard me, because I know the sound was off for 21 minutes, but I don't know if you guys heard me say this, but I was saying people globally, they watch the Olympics, or because of the historical reference of the Titans, and seeing great Olympians, great athletes, champions of the world compete on the world stage against country to country. They want to see great athleticism. They don't want to see a bunch of politics. They don't want to see a bunch of agenda. They don't want to see a bunch of things that don't make any sense. They just want to see good athleticism, and then a beautiful opening ceremony by the country that is representing them. That could be, we saw how Tokyo did their opening ceremony. I know Atlanta did their opening ceremony one year. China, and so, this was so different than all the other ceremonies that it's kind of like, did y'all run out of ideas? Like, what the heck did y'all do? Like, what happened? And so, yeah, pretty alarming, pretty disturbing. As far as like the uproar around it, like the Olympics shouldn't have no damn scandal or controversy around it. It's to show good ass athletes from their countries, and who gonna win this gold, who gonna win it. But y'all politicize everything and put an agenda and everything, and end up kicking yourself in the ass, biting your yourself. You know, this could potentially be the last Olympics that people tune into on a major level. Like, I don't see too many people wanting to support this stuff. Y'all gonna have to come back with a major theme that is beautiful. That y'all, I don't know how y'all gonna come back for this one as far as the Olympics, because it had been going down. You had to cancel with the pandemic, and now y'all call yourself doing this type of nonsense. You know, Mm-mm-mm-mm. And y'all could try to shut my stuff off or whatever and mess with my sound, but it's the truth. And y'all scared of the truth, and y'all scared of the chosen ones. Y'all scared of motherfuckers that got the sauce. Y'all always sit up under and be monitoring spirits and whatever, and be knowing y'all work for Satan, and knowing y'all they don't have no free will, and y'all be coming over all up in our business, or trying to program us. Y'all not smart enough to program us. Y'all sit up there and try to program people with that damn agenda at the Olympics, and y'all not smart enough or creative enough or have spirit. I'm not talking about the theme creator. I'm talking about, because I don't think that was his idea. I don't think it was all just him coming up with that. He could take he probably the fall guy. He's the fall guy for it, for sure. But that was a ritual, and it was multiple people that signed off on it. Somebody had to sign off on that. So somebody that signed, y'all didn't think that, okay, look at this. Does this look like all the other ceremonies? Could this top the Beijing opening ceremony? Can this top the Tokyo opening ceremony? Can this top the Americans opening ceremonies? Can this top that Russian ceremony from 2014? Can we top the ceremonies from 2006? Y'all didn't even think about that. Y'all didn't even think about that. And so that's how I know that it's some tomfoolery. And then y'all sit up there and pull this, and y'all can get mad, but y'all waited 10 hours to try to get in front of this story. Y'all had that y'all sit up there trying to allow men to fight women in the motherfucking Olympics, and people shutting that shit down. And y'all can get mad all y'all want, but y'all need us. We don't need y'all, so we just won't have no motherfucking Olympics unless y'all get them sellout athletes or whatever to do deals or whatever that's so desperate or whatever. But y'all mess around and find out. And I'm not saying the athletes that are participating in the Olympics are doing that. I'm not calling them sellouts. I'm talking about eventually that's where it's gonna go, where people, it won't be no more Olympics because ain't nobody gonna watch it. And there's it's not gonna be a profitable event because their sponsors gonna pull out, and if you don't have the viewers or the people watching it, then what do you have? And so yeah, if you're gonna rock what you rock and rock it out in the open, that's fine. That's fine. But you also got to do that from even a high level. You still got to do that from a high level, not with mockery, or where you're going to offend people, and then now everybody want to offend each other. That side want to offend the Christians offending them because they now they're getting accused to be the Christians are being getting accused of transphobic. And so it's just now it's a mess because now people we can't critique things, or we got to walk on eggshells because you can't critique certain things. And maybe the designer feel that way too, like, well, I wanted to critique religion, or maybe I wanted to show a different way of how I see the religion or whatever. And maybe that's how he saw it. But I don't even care about any of the identity politics of what somebody choose or what somebody think they is. I don't give a shit about that. I don't think aesthetically that this looked beautiful. Um, Again, like I said, even if you wanted to have a theme where you had some transgenders in there, I don't think this was aesthetically creative, or just something that was like, whoa. I don't care who was in it. I don't care who was in it. If this, like, even if they switched this out right, and they put, like, even to say you're just a bunch of males, say they did just have. Let me go back to that ceremony. Let me go back to the ceremony. So let's just say that they had say there was no transgenders and they just had a bunch of males. I still would think the same thing. I wouldn't understand the context because, like, to me, I'm like, Leonardo da Vinci is from Italy, so I wouldn't. It still wouldn't make any sense. Or if they had a bunch of kids, it still wouldn't make any sense. Or if even they switched it and put a bunch of females, it still wouldn't. It wouldn't. It's this. I guess to me, it's like I would have just went totally something different with the opening ceremony for Paris. Like I said, I like that Belle and Beauty and the Beast, and combination with avant-garde and French cuisine, and maybe if you wanted to have a couple of transgenders in the ceremony, have at it. But this was not it. Nonetheless, I don't think I said anything else that go viral about that. I could see that too. And it is backwards. Again, a lot of this information that these people stole is damn near is really botched. A lot of the info is just botched. I don't know what else to say. And people get mad at me for like they had to do, maybe witchcraft or something because I come at, they precious beliefs, and I don't care what anybody believes in. It's not my business. But I know they like to push that occult stuff on the public, and when I was researching that stuff, the first thing I just noticed was that it was botched. But I think all that shit is botched. regardless of a lot of this, even the religions, like it's all botched information, in my estimation. Whether that be in the traditional religion or in the esoteric occult realm, I feel like both of the all of the information is on some level. Some of it is very accurate, and then some of it is just completely just botched. I don't know what else to say. And people do with what they do with what they know at that time. So it's not me judging or me scolding. It's just, like it's just an observation. Like, oh, like I intuitively know that information that is being spread about in certain communities, it doesn't resonate with me, and that's just me. If it resonates with someone else, that's fine. I also know that a lot of this stuff comes from. I'm not going to go there, but yeah, a lot of it is mind control. It relates to certain cults that have connections with certain intelligence agencies, and they push things from the top down. Whether that be Scientology, whether that be certain even New Age movements, they push that shit up from the intelligence agencies. Um, like a lot of these religions, a lot of like are, I'm not about to go on a soap opera. I'm not about to do that in this video. We're about to wrap it up. But nonetheless, that's what I see. Another thing, yeah, um, if you focus too much on your work this week and you notice you
Okay, so I don't think I said anything else about it. I just wanted to know if I said anything else about it.
um, the neglect of more of the just pop up um, quantumly from the earth. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, let me get on out of here because I'm a
Yeah. So yeah, this gender stuff. You know, they're trying to figure out. We talk about the as above, as below, in terms of the transcendence or the um, integration of the divine masculine and divine feminine. As far as being complementary frequencies or energies, that is a thing. They just interpreted that to think that it means the inversion, or they have reversed engineered it to purposely try to invert it for as a part of a ritual to probably upset. I think that as far as energy harvesting and frequency wise, when we think about like the Olympic situation, that could have been done on purpose. Like I wouldn't put it past them to have done that on purpose, knowing that they were going to be able to tap into a base of people who would get angry, and now they can harvest that angry energy, that low frequency. If we're talking about like archons or people who can't survive off of like high frequencies, then they probably wanted that kind of outrage. I think this was planned. I really do. I don't think people are that stupid. I think that they knew. Now that I'm thinking deeper about it, and I'm knowing that we're dealing with a frequency war, I'm thinking that it's very possible that it was done on purpose, and that it could have been a situation where they wanted to harness or harvest very low densities of frequency, from other humans. Like when we talking about millions of people watching this opening ceremony, and they saw that and reacted vehemently, and so that could have been a part of the whole play. It was like we need a frequency lower, like whatever we can do to agitate or to disrupt or to anger. That's what they focus on. And I'm thinking that ritual was done to do that. Like, okay, we all know that they're gonna freak out and the Christians gonna come out and whatever, and they needed probably to lower the energy um, by doing that, lower the frequency, because anger is a lower frequency than say willingness or peace or love or just indifference. Even indifference, anger is a lower vibration than even indifference. And so when we think of how many people was upset, them archons get to harvest that as far as the ritual in terms of the feeding that is done to that they gotta do. Like, and that sometimes that's all them people be trying to do. Like, we gotta feed the beast. We saw the situation with Mr. Beast and Feastables. Mr. Beast. Look at the play here. We're about to go into next week's reading. But where did Kamala Harris open up her presidential campaign? A drag race RuPaul drag race. The drag queen, transgender, you know. What happened with Mr. Beast's channel? How did Mr. Beast's channel get taken down? Like Chris Tyson by what? Over a scandal regarding you know, the Chris Tyson scandal. Mr. Beast. Um, what happened at this ceremony? The mockery of the Last Supper using the same agenda, this gender inversion. And then we saw this all for this week. Now, not necessarily the Kamala campaign that started before that, and this Chris Tyson situation started before this reading that we did on July 26th. That was before that. But going into this week of that Olympic ceremony, and then, you know, this dismantling of Mr. Beast's channel, just look at it esoterically and spiritually, as far as codes fighting against codes, algorithms fighting against algorithms or frequencies. This is deep. This is deep stuff. If you when you're looking at it like somebody's trying to push a agenda of gender inversion, and then you got another group saying no, we want gender complementary. We want it just the natural way that it's always been, and so they fighting. You can feel it spiritually because even if you think of like what's happening with Mr. Beast's channel and the Chris Tyson situation, and they going at Mr. Beast now and taking this whole thing down of what they was doing with them kids and all that stuff, and then you see where Kamala opens up her campaign. These are all ritual. The campaign at RuPaul Drag Race, and what we saw that looking like. Matter of fact, for those that didn't, because y'all thinking of like, oh, yeah, you looking too deep into it. This all took place within the last 2 weeks, just so y'all know. So there's clearly an agenda. Let me pause. Oh, let me pause because I ain't trying to get them to say. This is RuPaul's Drag Race. This was July 25th. This was a day before the damn Olympic ceremony. Oops. This is the day before the ceremony. So this is something deeper going on here. These are all rituals. Within the last 2 weeks we've seen, and then the Chris Tyson and Mr. B situation. So it's something deeper going on here. Now, how you look at it or what you think this means, I could be wrong. Of what am I looking for? I wanted to look for Mr. Beast. I'm trying to look for. Here we go. Look at this. The same colors as the trans flag. So Mr. Beast channels get all this stuff. So you look at this stuff in terms of code and in terms of like what this all is. It's much deeper. But it's just interesting that spread came out like that last week with that gender with the Baphomet being the outcome card or the devil card being the outcome, and then all that took place. Ooh. So let's look for this week. I'll put my links for anyone that's interested in a reading in here. I know that was a big tangent. I was supposed to have been your browser. Okay, I want to make sure if my audio is still on. Just make sure. Okay. Still on. Okay. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay, so we're going to go into next week. Oh, that's so long-winded. So I'll put the links in for anyone that does want to get a reading. And I also put the link in for my books if anyone's interested in learning more about my body of work. And then we're going to get into next week. Now, what I'm seeing for next week, honestly, is something with cars, some type of car like a car company, car dealership, but they getting caught up in something from hiding something, some type of car company exposure. That's the first thing that I'm picking up for this reading. Let me put my link to my books in here. But yeah, that's the first thing that I'm picking up as far as like a global event. It's something with a big car company, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck that's about. Yeah, something. I don't know if this mean like recall or something come out about something they were doing that they weren't supposed to be doing, and this can relate to cars. Like usually vehicles. That's usually what I see when I get this. Mm, 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 mm. Or the extreme of it could be somebody get caught up in a car accident. I hope that's not the case, but I do see some remnants of that where this can actually be a an actual actual car uh, accident. Not on a again. This is not I'm not doing individual right now. I'm just doing it collectively. So I'm not saying it's for you or anybody that's watching this. This is more so like something that would be on a more well known wide scale. Something that's widely something that you could just go and Google. It goes viral. That's what we mean. And this is going into um August 9th. So this is for this week. It's starting, we could say, after this reading concludes, after I end my video, going into August 9th. Um, but yeah, there's an energy of something to do with vehicles. Now, that could mean either something with self driving stuff. Some could come out with that self driving car stuff about it, either the unethicalness of something. I want to say unethicalness, but something is being hidden or not. Something is not. It was hidden from the consumer. So I don't want to. I don't. I hope it's not. It doesn't look like a could be a. It's a major scandal. I'm not getting that, but it also is not a clean energy either. So I mean, it could be something with cars though. Some type of car company that has to be more transparent. So that could even be something as simple as updating term of service and updating something where they have to let the public know about some type of update or something that they're changing, or if on an extreme of it, they're going to be getting recalled or exposed for doing something with this car stuff, or it could be something like with that self-driving stuff, that technology that they trying to push. That's something that I see majorly going into next week. That just pops up. Something with vehicles, though, just is so strong. Vehicles, this could be a recall. Or, what else do we say? Self driving cars. Hiding. They're hiding something at the consumer level. This could even be something with the gas, too. That could be also interpreted as like gas, oil, or uh, gas prices, or something comes out about like the gas industry. Thing comes out about gas industry relating to let me just look at this a bit more. Sustainability. This could be relating to sustainability and health may come up. That's what I see for a world event. For a world event, that's the first thing that kind of comes to me. Yeah, I just keep seeing vehicle and then making a decision, some sort of decision. So another thing that maybe is like uh, changes around even travel or changes around travel, or what is this? The energy of like just changes around travel, the production of renewable energy, changes around travel, or production of renewable energy, like the means in which the traveling happens of renewable energy. So we talk about vehicles, that could be like the gas. Um, let's see, it's something along that lines. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens because I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I'm just only reading what the interpretation of my interpretation on what I'm seeing. So I'll have to see what takes place next week. As far as individually, though, individually, this is it's a pretty decent week. You'll feel a lot of willpower. There's a lot of determination, a lot of willpower. I would say though, the beginning of the week, there's you may feel a lot of fiery energy, so a lot of passion, sharp, sharp energy in terms of uh, witty ideas. Your mind is very sharp and fast, and so um, if you had like any deadlines or if you've been feeling overwhelmed in any moments going towards it right now, it's like kind of like we're ending. It's the end of the week. It does look like going into next week, it's going to be smooth sailing. Again, a lot of fiery energy, fast movement. So if you did have like any travel plans, it does look like that's going to be all fine. Like for anybody that had to travel, because it does look like there's going to be a lot of travel in that regard. Uh, yeah. Also, if you were looking to implement a new idea, you may receive some positive news at the beginning of the week. Positive news that will give you that willpower, like this big burst of motivation to complete the project and to move forward with enthusiasm. I don't know the intricacies of what that specific project is, but it does look like the motivation to complete it is there. Another thing is some people are going to be getting like a wake up call to see the truth of a situation. So this could mean like you may notice you may cut ties with someone, or your consciousness is expanded in a way where um, you know how to approach them in a way where it's more, where you're not feeling drained, where you're not feeling deficit. So it does look like you'll get your, say if you're in a relationship, it does feel like you'll be getting along pretty well with your spouse, but there may be a balance of, this could be work life balance. May notice that this week come up, or just even a literal juggle between the finances, so the juggle between finances or time or resources, something of that nature between you and a spouse, or if you're not in a relationship, this could just be just in general. But I would say the energy looks good for the week. It's not anything that I would say looks alarming. There's opportunities again for a lot of growth in any passion projects, any deadlines, anything that needed to to uh, be worked on next week. This is a good time. You'll have the energy to do that. The only thing though is with this moon, that's the one where it gets kind of tricky, because like say if you're working with people this week, or if you're in a relationship, you may notice like a lack of clear communication. And so knowing that, you want to work on your communication on both parts. And there also may be like a lack of clarity or insecurity that comes up. You can change that though. If it's something you can change that. That's usually what the moon energy means. Or an extreme of it is, say you want to be careful not to jump to conclusions. So that means just being a little more observant, a little more discerning. If you feel like you don't have the inability to see foresight, you just want to take things more slow. That's all it means. Just slow down instead of jumping to conclusions. The extreme end of that, it means you could be falling prey to illusion. So you want to make sure that you're staying grounded with reality. Um, and another thing, on the extreme side of the moon, someone could be hiding something. Someone could. The thing is, I don't necessarily get that in the context of what is surrounding the energy. So I'm thinking it's more so of a, for me, I'm getting more of a lack of clarity and lack of communication, lack of communication. So if you ever have to work with people this week, or if you have a relationship, or you want to make sure you're clear your intentions, you speak what you say, what's on your mind, you say, mean what you say. say what you mean, that type of thing. That's that type of vibe to circumvent that moon energy. Being direct, making sure your needs are met, documentation, making sure you document things as well. That will be good for this week as well. Um, to make it logical, be logical more than emotional, so that you don't fall to prey to illusions or jump to conclusions. That would be how I would handle that moon energy as far as advice. Like that's how you would handle that. You know, that's the extreme of it. Another way to handle that energy is planning, especially if again the travel comes up. We see where the travel can happen, even with the what is this? The Knight of Wands and Three of Wands. That's like that can allude to travel. And so, if you are traveling, then the planning comes in. You want to plan really well, communicate really, make sure you cross your eyes. That's how you deal with that moon energy, or else you're gonna be dealing with like things relating to it could be tech glitches, the losing a document that you really need, that type of thing. You don't want to deal with that while you're traveling out. So you want to make sure that you got it take it slow and double check everything for and especially planning around any trips. That's all I would say. Let's see what else. Yeah, another thing with the moon energy is on top of being directed this week, you want to make sure you establish your boundaries. Yeah, yeah, something with another thing. If you're moving house, or like this energy could also mean like um, someone that is moving, someone that's literally moving or trying to change their career. If you're moving, you definitely want to be looking at making sure that you know everything that you get into in terms of whatever lease you're signing. You did not investigation, inspection of the place wherever you're moving. You want to make sure you inspect everything that's all around, because it's something that's hidden or something you may not know about, or do a background on the landlord, whatever you're doing. It's in terms of, I'm just saying this because we see this chariot. This chariot usually, it can also, on top of the chariot meaning vehicles, it can mean something with moving. And so if someone's moving, if you get in a new place or something, I'm telling you to just look over everything before you make a decision. If you're still looking for like a house or a apartment or something, if you were changing careers, you also want to do research into the companies that you're applying for, looking at their mission statements and their values, their value statements, and their earnings, like how much cash flow do they have on hand to pay employees, or those type of things like matter. So that's another thing that I would say, because this chariot and this moon is interesting. It's interesting. If you have any, also if you had a lot of compulsions, this is also slow down. Do not jump to conclusions, because chariot can kind of be a compulsive energy. Um, and so that's another thing. When it combined with the moon, that's definitely you could be prone to jump into conclusions, or somebody around you is prone to jump to conclusions, and you don't want to play into that energy. You want conciseness, willpower, determination, knowledge, knowing. And so that's how you combat that moon energy, or turn it or transmute it, not combat, but transmute that energy. Okay. Yep. So that's what I have for this week. I'm about to get on up out of here. Man, oh man. Okay.